Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles, and we have a great battle here for you today. In a tank that doesn't really seem to get featured very often, which is a shame because this is Tiger 131. Premium Tier 6 German heavy tank released into World of Tanks in collaboration with the Tank Museum at Bovington, where they actually have Tiger 131, the only Tiger tank in the world in full working order. Driving Tiger 131 for us today is Heinrich Adler, here in a Tier 6 battle on the Berlin map. Yes, Tiger 131 is Tier 6, not Tier 7 like the regular Tiger 1. And the reason for that is very simple. Tiger 131 is an actual real tank. It's a proper representation of the Tiger tank. It's armed with the KWK 88mm L56 gun, which is the gun that the Tiger actually had. Unlike the Tier 7 Tech Tree Tiger 1, which can equip the gun that the Tiger 2 had, which obviously the real Tiger was never fitted with. But hey, World of Tanks, what are you going to do? It's almost identical to the Japanese Tiger, which is also Tier 6, the heavy tank number 6. The only real difference is that Tiger 131 has better signal range. Other than that, they're pretty much identical. Plus, when you get Tiger 131, you get a full crew with the Brothers in Arms skill, so, you know, there's that too. Now, before you all start getting uncommonly excited at the idea of having a Tiger at Tier 6 with Tier 6 matchmaking, remember, it's balanced to fit at Tier 6. It has the same armour as the Tiger at Tier 7. But, again, that's not really something to get especially excited about, because despite the Tiger's reputation for being tough and deadly in reality, which it was, in World of Tanks, Wargaming do make an attempt, most of the time at least. Oh boy, I can already see the comments. Wargaming do at least try to match tanks against other tanks that have a fighting chance of being able to kill them. Yes, I know, I did actually just say that. Which means that the Tiger at Tier 7 was not an especially well armoured tank, not by the standards of the kind of tanks that it's going to have to face. What makes the Tiger special at Tier 7 is the blistering rate of fire of its 88mm gun, which, I should remind you, is not this 88mm gun. This is the 88mm gun that the Tiger actually had. And this 88mm gun only has 145mm of penetration, which, of course, was entirely capable of defeating the armour of just about any tank that the Tiger was actually going to fight in reality. But World of Tanks is not reality. In World of Tanks, for example, although not in this battle, but it's certainly possible for Tiger 131 to have to fight tanks like the IS-3, which it just wouldn't have a prayer of being able to defeat from the front. That does cut both ways though, because Tiger 131 is Tier 6, it does stand more of a chance of facing the actual tanks that it would have had to fight in reality. Tanks like the Sherman, which wouldn't be able to defeat Tiger 131 from the front, but which would be able to defeat Tiger 131 side armour. And of course Tiger 131 would have no problems defeating a Sherman from the front. Or a Matilda. So in that respect, I think they've actually done a pretty good job of Tiger 131. I always felt that the Tiger, like the Panther, should have been at Tier 6 rather than Tier 7 anyway. Which is basically what they've done with Tiger 131. And also the German VK 3002M, which is basically a historically accurate Panther at Tier 6, where God intended it. I feel that people often get unrealistic expectations of tanks like the Tiger and the Panther in World of Tanks. I know I did when I first started playing. I can clearly remember when I first unlocked the Tiger with the stock turret and the 75mm gun. Oh, God, it was painful. But then, of course, I got it upgraded, I got the long 88, and I thought, yes, now I'm untouchable. Which, of course, I wasn't, for a whole bunch of reasons, and not just because back then. I mean, these days you think two-tier matchmaking is bad? Back when I unlocked the Tiger 1, Tier 7 heavies could fight Tier 10s, so... yeah. You try taking the Tiger up against an IS-7. Good luck with that. Yeah, people forget what World of Tanks used to be like. I keep looking at the past through rose-tinted glasses. Oh, the old days were so much better. No, they weren't. I mean, some things were, obviously, but most things, no. Does anybody remember when artillery could fire armor-piercing shells and could one-shot tier 10 heavies? Yeah, trust me. The good old days aren't quite as good as everybody seems to remember them. You notice Heinrich here, moving forward to take the hits for his buddy in the KV-2 there. What a player. Angled KV-2, 88mm gun. Tracks 8 the shot. Tracks 8 the shot again. 145mm of penetration. That's the problem here. This is why he's having to switch to the gold ammo. Oh, and I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a tragedy unfolding before our eyes here. That KV-2 was firing armor piercing. You see what you've done, high explosive nerf? Do you see what you've done? Top tier KV-2s firing AP? You should be ashamed of yourselves. Right, anyway. Rant over for now until the next time. Yeah, okay, some things about the game were better in the old days. Right now, Heinrich is trying to catch up with that KV-1 here. And that's the other thing about the Tiger, of course. It wasn't particularly mobile. I mean, Tiger 131 has the historically accurate Maybach HL210 engine. The Tiger at tier 7 can equip the Maybach HL230, which only has 50 extra horsepower but weighs 500 kilos more. It doesn't actually improve your power to weight ratio. Now that KV-85 up there is going to be capable of giving Heinrich some serious problems because, well, unlike the name would suggest, he probably doesn't have the 85mm gun. In fact, looking at the damage he's doing, I'm pretty sure he's rocking the 100mm gun. So even if Heinrich angles his armour, which he has been trying, it's mostly useless. Because that 100mm gun with 170mm of penetration can go through even the front of an angled Tiger like a hot knife through butter. So he had to trade with the KV-85 there, and he won the trade, but it's left him basically a one-shot. Fortunately, the KV-1 up there did not look both ways before crossing the road, and he's determined to kill the Hetzer rather than Heinrich, and it looks like he's rocking the 57mm gun, which despite the low caliber is a very, very impressive gun, and would very easily have been capable of taking Heinrich out if he'd noticed that there was an extremely low health Tiger at the end of the road putting shots into him. Fortunately for Heinrich at least, he didn't. You know, I do have to say, and I don't mean to diminish Heinrich's performance here or anything, but I think the tier 4s in this battle are the real MVPs. I mean, the Hetzer hasn't killed anything yet, but he's been playing well. The VZ39 on Heinrich's team has 2 kills, the T28 on the enemy team has 2 kills, the M8A1 on the enemy team has 1 kill, as Heinrich is looking to get his 6th kill for the Top Gun, but that M8, minus spoiler alert, he's going to finish the battle with 4 kills, so... I mean, sure, Heinrich did just get a Top Gun, but he has a top tier heavy tank. You know, these guys are all swimming at the bottom end of the matchmaking pool, and they're doing exceptionally well. The M8 just picked up his 2nd kill and knocked out the friendly Matilda, as Heinrich is struggling to keep up with the Hetzer here. At the moment, they have a 2-kill lead. And then the M8 racks up his 3rd kill, and then they don't have a 2-kill lead anymore. The Hetzer finally gets his 1st kill, knocks out the T28. You saw the slow shell velocity and the high ballistic arc there. He's using the 105mm howitzer. Which again, you know, it's a brave choice on the Hetzer, especially after the high explosive nerf. Good news, bad news situation for the VZ39. He was doing well, again he's only tier 4, but he was on a sliver of health and he just got taken out by the M8. So good news for the M8, that's his 4th kill. Very bad news for the VZ39, and not great news for Heinrich's team as a whole. While the M8 isn't going to be much of a problem for Heinrich, it's going to be a problem for the Hetzer. And the Su-85I is going to be a big problem, and there's the M8. Puts 1 shot in. The Hetzer trades and wins, so that's great. He's just gotten his 2nd kill. Unfortunately, the Su-85I, who I don't think has been spotted this entire game, has just killed the Hetzer, which just leaves Heinrich and the artillery, the infamous le. And it's at this point where we start to see something extremely rare. Coordination and teamwork. Heinrich has no idea where the Su-85I fired from, but the Hetzer has a fairly good idea, so he asks him, and the Hetzer tells him, yeah, he's over there somewhere. Okay, cool. Now, the SU-85I, the 85mm gun on that thing, if he's firing gold, easily has enough penetration. I mean, if he's firing regular AP, it has enough penetration to go through the front of a Tiger. If the Tiger's angled, he'll probably require gold, however. But you can only really angle against the target if you know exactly where it is. So, Heinrich starts covering his bets here, working on the probability that he's probably going to get shot before he sees the SU-85I. He asks the artillery to head for the cap circle. And against all odds, the artillery not only agrees, but starts doing it. I know, right? Communication, teamwork. And it is in fact the artillery who spots the SU-85I, which I'm sure comes as a huge relief for Heinrich, because that thing is easily capable of one-shotting him. Artillery gets a hit. I don't know what the SU-85I is shooting at, or even if it is. Heinrich gets a hit. And of course, as one of the fastest firing artillery in the game, the Lefer gets the follow-up shot, claims the kill, and wins the match. Heinrich Adler in Tiger 131. Ace Tanker, Steel Wall, High Caliber, and Top Gun. And it has to be said, a genuinely great supporting cast on both teams of Tier 4s, all of them punching well above their weight. So, well done, congratulations, and thank you to everyone involved for an entertaining battle showcasing tanks that actually mostly existed in configurations that they actually mostly were in. Something that's increasingly rare in World of Tanks once you go above Tier 7 and is virtually impossible once you get to Tier 10. So, for all of those reasons, I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.